got a weird one for you today. This one was recommended to me and, well, basically supplied to me by my friend Steve. Longtime viewers of this channel are going to recognize this guy. Well, recognize his name, I guess. Anyway, he lent me this. The Trailer Park of Terror. Yeah, The Trailer Park of Terror. It's a movie from 2008. The aforementioned golden age of 2000s horror movies. In terms of, it's got a lot of quick cuts. Everything's edited like a Rob Zombie movie. I don't know if it's picking up any influence from those. Seems to be pretty independent. I never heard of any of these people. Doesn't look like it had a hell of a big budget in there. It's got fairly decent performances from some unknown actors. A fairly well written script. It's well directed. All the cinematography is all good, and there's some gore in here. A good amount of gore, actually. Executed competently. In our pre-credits scene, we get to see what we think is going to be our protagonist, who ends up to be the main antagonist in the rest of this movie. She grows up in a trailer park. She's a very attractive young woman. Grows up amongst all this poverty and crime, apparently, and a lot of oppression from these chauvinistic redneck trailer park denizens. In a way, it's kind of making fun of that whole sort of social class, but at the same time it's not. It's kind of embracing that and trying to tell a story within it. It's really hard to tell how seriously they're actually taking this. I'm thinking not very, but they do a pretty good job of crafting a kind of a curse kind of storyline. As I was saying, there is our main character, Norma, who grows up in these horrible conditions in this trailer park. Her mother makes adult movies. Her father's nowhere to be found. Everybody around them deals in drugs and stolen goods and prostitution. She's had enough. She brings a boyfriend back to the trailer park, or rather, he comes to pick her up for a date. The guy ends up getting killed by the other denizens of the park. And she curses them and, swears that I'm going to get you guys back for this and whatever. And so she leaves town. And just as she's leaving town, she happens to meet what I'm assuming is the devil. Who's a guy in a big-ass cowboy hat, big-ass truck. He's looking the biker, almost like bounty hunter kind of part. I don't know, he seems pretty evil anyway. And he gives her this long-winded speech and, how he can help her get revenge on everybody in this trailer park. All them that done you wrong, I'll help you get back at them. But it's not going to come free. It comes at the expense of her soul. So she goes back to the trailer park, murders everybody, and blows them all up in a propane explosion, and kills herself as well. So this evil curse, this demonic, satanic curse that's been placed on this trailer park continues. A couple of decades later, there's a bus full of reform school students, led by this preacher, youth pastor or something, that's trying to turn around these bad kids or whatever, but they're going on this road trip, and wouldn't you know it, their bus breaks down right in front of this cursed trailer park. So they have to go there seeking shelter for the night and repairs for their vehicle and basically looking for aid. And they meet Norma, who they think is just a normal person at first, even though she's super creepy and she's hypersexualized and like a succubus almost, I guess. She seduces the pastor as well as several of the troubled youth kids or whatever, who are all assholes in this movie. All of the characters in this movie are assholes. That's one thing that really affected my viewing of this, is that I didn't like any of the characters. So why would I root for them? And who gives a fuck what's going to happen to any of these people? And they all die, except for the one kind of, the snotty goth girl that kind of has a grip on the situation. The final girl, she kind of knows what's going on. She survives till the end. Most of her friends, well, all of her friends and her pastor, they all get murdered by these ghosts, zombies, cursed demon people, whatever, hillbilly trailer trash people. It's kind of interesting in that they flesh out the villains almost as much as they do like our teen characters. Like you have the one guy that he plays guitar and he plays the wicked blues guitar, and he's all about women and seducing women, and I think he's the drug guy too. He's into peddling drugs and whatever. And of course he gets zombified, and at one point he actually gets like cut in half and he gets his legs cut off. And there's the big the butcher guy, the guy that kills all the animals and slaughters the animals and prepares the meat and all that. And he's pretty evil and not all that entertaining as a character. Then you get your obese lady, super obese lady that just wants to eat everything, and then who cannibalizes one or two of the kids from the reform school bus or whatever. And she's a zombie, and she eats people and blah blah blah. Oh, then you get the undead prostitute, the Asian hooker. In life, she would service truckers that come by the trailer park. But then she catches these two teenage guys and basically murders them. And so kind of the climax of the film is they're all driving around in a demolition derby in all these fucking junky cars, and all these zombies are driving it and chasing after our protagonist, our final girl. And so she manages to avoid all that and avoid getting killed. Sun comes up, and I guess she's free to go. Whatever, and then she just wanders away and gets back to the highway, and end of the movie. But apparently the Trailer Park of Terror lives on. Or whatever. I don't know, it's dumb. At the same time, I think it's pretty competently made, especially for what I think was an independent movie. I don't think this is a Sci-Fi Channel movie or something of that caliber. I do think this was made by maybe a small company that managed to scrounge up some decent actors, because the actors are decent. As I said, the writing seems to be okay. The backstory of the trailer park is kind of interesting. The progression of the story is also kind of interesting, but it's basically just meant to be a zombie slasher kind of horror movie. I wasn't blown away either, but wasn't a terrible movie. It was just kind of meh. I don't know, I guess I'm gonna have to give Trailer Park of Terror a boring old C+. Gave it a plus because, like I said, it's decently shot and decently acted and decently written and directed. There's nothing wrong with it. There wasn't anything really exciting in here. You could see all the kills coming a mile away. You could see all the story development. Well, I didn't see the redneck demolition derby coming, but you could see all the other story beats. You could see it all coming. It was all pretty predictable. Played out exactly like I thought it was going to. It was passable. Yeah, not only does it pass, it's not an F, so it's not a bad movie, but it's pretty run of the mill. But it gets that plus for the C+. Just because they did what they wanted to do. They made the movie that they wanted to make, and I respect that. I don't have a lot of respect for a lot of the movies that come out in the 2000s, horror movies that is, because they're all very repetitive and derivative, and this kind of fell in there, but it had that little spark of originality in there that set it apart from some of its contemporary movies. So I can't say I enjoyed Trailer Park of Terror, but I tolerated it enough and respected it enough to give it a C+. So stay tuned till next time for the October Horrorthon 2025 and here at Andy Boy Comics and Toys. And until then, have a good one, everybody.